Hello, today we in Israel are on the Memorial Day for those who died in the wars of Israel, and we decided to dedicate the topic of our lesson to the topic of the Israeli nation. You can ask questions on Kab.tv. Rav Leitman.
I don't know what to start with. Perhaps I would express my attitude or my relation to the Israeli nation as to a part in the army that is like a commando team, like a squad, that are sent to a mission, and they go. On the way there, they encounter all sorts of problems. Some fall down, some are more successful, some discover the mission better on the way. Say they're sent to a different world altogether, a different planet where the conditions are unknown, nothing is known, and on the way they have to get along by themselves, manage the process, understand what actions to take, how to achieve the final goal, conquer that new place that they don't know its nature and conditions beforehand. So that group goes through various problems, as if they go through jungles and swamps and deserts and all sorts of scrutinies within the nation. They fight among themselves as well. They have those little feuds and separations and connections, and it all happens within that commando that was sent to conquer a land. And that's sort of how I look at describing this battle which we are in. So there's a certain calculation and a certain approach to our friends who fell on the way, those pulling us forward, those showing the path on which we advance. There's many steps in this process. It's really like a very unique historical adventure of those reincarnating souls that follow their instructions cycle after cycle until they come to the last phase, where they already came to the right place, and now they need to set themselves up, they need to arrange themselves or align themselves towards the last battle. That's all good if the battle would continue in a way that we know from adventures or discovery of new lands, where you go through a big ocean, jungles, you encounter some tribes that you fight with, you conquer, you connect with, and so on. But there's a different battle here. And that one is an inner battle. Not an external one, where using the force of the ego and egoistic bonding and trying to chase some external enemy, where all our envied lust and our honor and power, all our evil natural inclinations that are at work, and then we just need big muscles to succeed. Here we're talking about a complete opposite internal process, where we all have to succeed in the inner war. We think that we always have to exploit the external enemy. To win over, to triumph the external enemy. In truth, it's only an imagination. If we win over ourselves, then the external enemy disappears. If not, we have to fight the external enemy as well in the meantime in order to buy us some time, because we are entering the time zone now. If we're not working against the inner enemy, then that's where we have to meddle with time. So we have to do an external action to buy us time for spiritual action. That's why we're in a world that is completely divided into two. Part of it is corporeal, part of it is spiritual. And this is how we have to relate to our friends. Those who are with us in corporeal systems and those who are with us in spiritual systems. Both have a good and beautiful part in this great battle towards the final correction. And as Baal HaSulam says, many of the friends fall and many will fall in this battle, both in the inner battle and in the external battle. However, all in all, they all invested themselves in attaining the purpose of creation. Therefore, their souls, which reincarnate and rise again and again in this process until all the souls are corrected, and then they come to connection and adhesion. And with regards to us, we're always facing the future and not the past. And we have to try to create our inner systems by which we will shorten as much as we can those external systems. Yes?
You said that Israel are like a commando, an elite unit that is sent to a special mission.
Yeah.
Where?
To conquer the evil inclination. Israel means the spark, the point in the heart that is like an alien force within a hostile land or a hostile country. But I'd like to say this circle is the hostile land, and this is Israel. Rav writes ego. the ego. And we, found here, should really try to conquer that ego, to correct it. So first, we have to strengthen ourselves. Strengthen ourselves and also bestow upon the ego by ourselves, give them the light after we correct ourselves, and that's it. And that's how you correct it. That's how you correct the whole world. But our mission is, in fact, we're not coming from here. We came from there. Like this. This is Israel at their root. So we went through such a route that took us inside by what's called the shattering of the vessels. The shattering of the collective soul. And we went in, and now at first we're broken there inside, and we have to become corrected, and to the extent of our correction we correct the collective ego.
Who's the chief of staff that sent this command unit?
Him, the creator. Israel is a part of him. It's called Galgalta Enaim, vessels of bestowal. Vessels of bestowal found within the ego, which is vessels of reception.
So, seemingly this chief of staff sent his command unit.
Sent the commando, gave them strength, gave them the connections, everything. And if they're connected to him, but they have no choice. He broke them. He shattered them. What does it mean? In order to put them inside the hostile land, he had to give them the same form of that hostile land. It's like we go into a country as an undercover team. And each one of us is exactly like the people of the land. Say we're being now sent somewhere, Africa, for instance. So we'll take on the same shape and form of the people in Africa. The characteristics, traits, approach, interests, everything. The same exact form, inside and out. As we are there, it's like an undercover agent. He is there for a while, no one touches him, he has to start working, build a house, family, everything is fine, okay, for years and years. After that, he starts doing something. He gets a reminder from outside. You got to start working. He already forgot about it. And all of a sudden, they call him, here is your commander, this and this and that. Like in the movies. And like in Jason Bourne. And this is what's happening with us. We have to wake up. We have to remember that we have a special mission. And really, this isn't our place. We're coming from a completely different place. So we have to find our friends according to this awakening. Did you get a phone call? I got a phone call. He got a phone call, and so on. And then we gather as a group. So from this entire planet, we are aliens. We're coming from a different galaxy. We received this ray of light, this awakening, individually, and now we're gathering as groups, starting to prep ourselves to conquer Earth. That's the mission. What? You don't see it?
How do we conquer it?
How do we conquer it? We're also sent the method. We're being shown everything gradually. We're being taught. Not taught, but kind of being trained, activated, and then that emotion and mind awakens in us. But in fact, it's new to us, but in fact it's coming from our original planet. And thanks to that original natural force we have, we will take over. We'll take over those living on Earth. What are you looking at me like that? You don't believe what I'm telling you? I'm telling you seriously. It's even more than that. It's not a different galaxy. It's a different universe. It's a different dimension altogether. That's who we are. You got something from Baal Sulam?
Actually from Rabash. In letter 8 he writes, "Finally, a handful of people have gathered together to be in one place under one leader, and with a spirit of braveness above human spirit, they stand firm against all those who come to defeat them. And certainly these people have to be brave and have a firm spirit and a decisive decision to not take a step back. And they are fighters, warriors of the first degree, who will fight against desire until their last drop of blood. And all their aim is only to win that war for the honor of the Creator."
Well, for our homeland, let's say, the old one, the one back there. Yes.
I don't understand why those people whom you call Israel, why are they different if everybody needs to reach that purpose? So it's only a matter of time? Why are they aliens?
They're aliens because I'm not talking about their external form, their body or their all sorts of, flesh and blood organs. I'm talking about that interior that does not exist in other people in the world, on Earth, but only in them. It's this inner software that is in them, here, coming from the other world.
Others don't have it?
Others don't have it.
But everybody has a point in the heart.
No, there's none. No.
And they
only
won't
those.
And they won't have it?
We'll see. They will maybe go through something in order to have that, but in the meantime, that's not the concern. What we're talking about now is the phase where those undercover agents have to connect together and organize themselves in order to conquer Earth.
In the article of Reptoid, Baal Sulam writes that it is up to the Israeli nation, which is the topic of the lesson also, it's up to the Israeli nation to train themselves, prepare themselves and the whole world until they'll develop to be able to take on that high work of loving the others, which is the ladder to reach the purpose of creation, which is adhesion.
So we came here in order to put things in order, like in our home planet. There, everything is in order to bestow. It's complete love. It's something opposite to what we have here. We came here in order to finish all the, how to put it, you know, the horrible order that happens here, where the people of Earth are ruining themselves, they're annihilating themselves. Soon they're going to put an end to their life here. We came here to help them, to save them, to set up a different life for them. That's the mission. Now we're waking up, coming from this kind of wave that is coming from our home planet. We're being activated to start working.
Okay, so we were awakened and now we unite. Using what language can we talk to those who didn't come from that planet?
I don't know. That's already the technology. You're asking, I don't know. That's, I don't have a clue. Maybe we'll throw into the water something, how do you call that? We'll throw them some magic remedy. I don't know. You're asking about the implementation already. What I'm talking about is the status itself. Yes, Moti.
That special group was actually founded in Abraham's tent. He was their first commander. Throughout history, it actually did conquer humanity, Earth, in many areas, culture, science, and it did it successfully. But it wasn't founded for that purpose. We know it was founded in order to take humanity towards the correction. Now it has to really conquer and realize the goal, the role for which it was founded. Where should it come from, that desire? Out of us or from the outside to influence us, to force us? Where should this desire to conquer Earth come from and to correct the world? This is the task that you receive, and that's it.
It's the mission that you get, and that's it. You have inner foundations that where this hard drive with the data is being revealed in you, and the ability to connect to that higher force, that ray of light that comes from the home planet, where you can feed on that and get a feed from there. And then how do you work? You work from the hard drive through your external body that operates towards the people of the world. Then you can have contact with them.
When she wanted to conquer, then in science she gave birth to Einstein. Now in the correction, what?
No. There was no intention to conquer, not the culture or religions or science. That's incorrect. That's what you're adding to my story, which is incorrect. There was no issue there. There was no special task in that. No. Because there are preparations for a spiritual action, so they also have excellence in corporeal actions, but it's not more than that. And most of that also comes from the fact that they are an ancient nation that exists to this day. It isn't like that this is part of carrying out a special plan. You can say that to some extent, in terms of religions, that religions indirectly are preparing humanity to the idea, but it's not like the the group did it on purpose. No, for sure not. Because they almost managed to succeed in assimilating, canceling themselves, dissolving in the people of Earth, the Earthlings. You know, there are such theories that Jews aren't from this world, that they are from other planet. So I agree with that. Yeah. You see, the story came out actually nice. Yes, Mike?
Can we say the following, that in order to fulfill the mission, that commando first has to locate one another?
Yes. Yes, this is given to them. You know, it's like when you're in a foreign land and someone tells you, this guy and the other guy were also sent like you, and you have to join together to fulfill your mission. That's how we join a group. Okay? Okay, what, guys? You want to add something to the story, or what?
Человечеством. То есть она должна превратить его в такую же группу, или она должна изменить какую-то часть свойств в основном человечестве?
Translate.
This humanity received a mission to do something with the main humanity. This group received this mission, or to add all of humanity to its group, or what?
It's the same thing. It's one and the same. Whether you change humanity or join humanity, or it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Whether you say it like this or like that, it's the same thing exactly. Because basically, you're letting the light work. It's neither this group or the others do anything. It's just actions making them more sensitive for the influence of the light, which gives the awakening to all. Yes.
Rav, in a few hours we're going to have the sirens for the Memorial Day, and it'll be a moment of silence where many people in this country will be in one thought, remembering the same thing. The question is, is there even such a thing where we can participate in that thought, yet lead this whole stream that there is at that moment towards some sort of awakening, or is that just an imagination?
No. We mustn't touch these moments of others, because we may create, bad responses, bad reactions, and create a negative image to the wisdom of Kabbalah. We are a part of the people. We are feeling everyone's pain. With it, we're also saying clearly that if we want these things to stop, we have to start behaving differently. And if we're not saying it about the past, but let's say towards the future, if we fix our relationship, there is no other force, no enemy that can hurt us. And this is what Baal Salam says, that no other nation, no other control can come to us and do something to us. That's on the condition that we are in the quality of bestowal. Because you can't touch, you can't sting, you can't hurt the quality of bestowal. It's a quality that the ego has no grasp of. It's in contrast to it. It has no access to it. It's the same thing like corporeality towards spirituality. You can't do anything about it. It's just like magic. It's something unnatural. It's really above nature.
We know that this Israel is not, doesn't necessarily mean an Israeli idea or somebody who lives in Israel. So I wanted to ask, what is special, what is unique? Is there anything unique about those who do live in Israel, the corporeal Israel? Or is it only one in which in which the inner point of Israel has not awakened? Is there anything special about who just live here?
The soil and the land and the country here is nevertheless some symbol, not today yet, but hopefully it's a symbol of a country that has to be entirely built and based on the force of bestowal, on mutual love. Love thy friend as thyself. Don't do to your friend what is hated for you. Everyone is one man and one heart in mutual guarantee. Arvut. Here is the place, and here you have the best conditions to do that. That's why those who are drawn to spirituality are in some way also drawn here. You can't build the land of Israel in Madagascar or in Uganda.
State.
There's a root and spiritual branch issue here, and we have to take it into account. So, there's no choice. We're here, and here we have to build a state of bestowal, love, and give an example to the world. Only like that you will overcome all the enemies and you will reach true independence and stop all the casualties.
Rav, there's a question from Haifa, a student from Haifa. You said Rabash was very concerned about every soldier. Can the pain of Memorial Day bring about the prayer of the collective?
Yes, but it's not the matter of the prayer of many or the prayer of an individual. This isn't the kind of questions that we ask, because the wisdom of Kabbalah doesn't address this. So what, we'll do our own memorial prayer now, or of course, yes, as the nation's culture and tradition, but not that we come to something by that. We have to understand, what do we raise from our cry, from the bottom of our heart? What collective desire, what collective deficit? What happened because we weren't corrected and we received the opposite outcome from a good that is for a force that is good, that does good. And today we have to take ourselves and set ourselves correctly. A hero will not win through his great strength. We have to understand that these wars are endless. There's no end to these feuds, here and all over the world. There's no end to these wars, and there won't be any end until we realize what's up to us to do. And now we all received a command from our home planet that we can start working. So let's do it. And
for this mission, Alex from Beersheba is asking, How do we connect with the upper force?
Through the connection between us, we discover that force. And with that force that becomes revealed between us, we work towards the entire world. This means that first we have to unite, then we can work. Otherwise you have nothing you can give. You'll just give empty papers. Well, and you got something to add? Some excerpt?
Yes, the first article from the speech to the completion of the Zohar, Baal HaSulam says the following about the opportunity for redemption. Thus, even though the Creator has delivered the land from the hands of the nations and had given it to us, we have not yet received it. We are not enjoying it. But with this giving, the Creator had given us an opportunity for redemption.
Well, keep it in mind that all that we're doing now is on the account of the host, so to speak. He gave us an opportunity to start organizing ourselves, to have the required conditions and forces, and if not, if we won't do our role, fulfill our mission, then we will have to be awakened by very unpleasant means, because we eventually must complete this mission. Okay?
What is an act of heroism in that inner war?
A heroic act in the inner battle is when a person puts himself in front of his evil inclination and he doesn't budge until he forces the Creator to correct it.
To continue Glycerin's question, in a corporeal war, there are situations where a soldier may sacrifice himself for the rest of his friends, for his homeland. What does it mean in our inner war to sacrifice yourself?
That I'm willing to not leave to myself, to my will to receive, any fulfillment, any reward. Rather, everything must be only for the collective reward, that we all together build our arvut. Yes. I'll read another excerpt.
Piece number 3 from the Writings of the Last Generation. Baal HaSulam says, Judaism must present something new to the nations. That is what they expect from the return of Israel to the land. It is not in other teachings, for in that we never innovated. We were always their disciples. Rather, it is the wisdom of religion, justice, and peace. In this, most nations are our disciples, and this wisdom is attributed to us alone.
Yes, we don't understand, and they don't understand that once we truly begin to behave correctly, our problem is not in spreading the wisdom of Kabbalah like shouting through the media. No, I have to be internally built according to that force. I have to extract that mission from the inside of me. If we do this from within and show them an example, they will change their approach, and they'll change their approach to us 180 degrees. That's how it's set up by nature. And there's no one to ask here. There's nothing to ask about. It just works. It just works like that in nature. And you'll immediately feel how everyone influenced by that. In the meantime, we're drawing only those with a point in the heart. Once the force of bestowal prevails between us, we'll pull everyone. We'll attract everyone. That's what they're expecting. And anti-Semitism is because, in the meantime, we're not showing them the correct form. Yes?
Maybe in the inner sense of this, in the introduction to the book of Zohar, in letter 71, he writes, "From now on it is only up to us to increase the importance of our inner degree, meaning Israel in us, which is the needs of the soul, over the external degree, which is the nations of the world, which are the needs of the body." And that force will come to such a degree in Israel that the nations of the world in us will come to see the importance of Israel over them, and will listen to them and obey them. According to the allegory you gave before of a commando unit sent to a special task, the the communications with the chief of staff in terms of how it works both ways, there are messages that the chief of staff sends to the commando, and there may be other messages or questions, or I don't know what, that the commando wants to ask the chief of staff in return. How can the commando communicate with the chief of staff to receive directions, etc.?
There's no problem. There are commanders who know everything is in a structure just like in the army. Everything's there. Everything is there. All you need is to implement. Everyone received instructions. The problem is the implementation still. You have something else there?
Yaniv is suggesting we read number 6. Baal HaSulam says the following in the peace article. Our sages said, "The blessing of peace in the whole world precedes the strength," meaning the redemption, because God did not find a vessel to hold the blessing for Israel, but peace. Thus, as long as self-love and egoism exist among the nations, Israel too will not be able to serve the Creator in purity as bestowal, as it is written in the explanation of the words, "And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests," in the essay the Arvut. And we see it from experience, for the coming to the land and the building of the temple could not persist and receive the blessings that God has sworn to our fathers. And this is why they said, God did not find a vessel to hold the blessings, meaning, thus far, Israel did not have a vessel to hold the blessing of the fathers. Therefore, the oath that we can inherit the land for all eternity has not yet been fulfilled, because world peace is the sole vessel that enables us to receive the blessing of the fathers, as in the prophecy of Isaiah.
What does he want to say? He wants to say this. All the breakages, the breakings we went through in the first ruin of the temple and the second are because there was no time for complete redemption yet. So the ego, inside and outside Israel, was on the rise. Now, however, as we approach correction, we're approaching the world's correction. That's why this redemption is a complete redemption, and there won't come afterwards, after the general correction called the correction of the temple, there won't be another shattering. Meaning there can't be complete correction for Israel if they don't correct the world.
Ilan from Canada is asking, will we be able to pull all of the nations behind us only after we pass through the Machzom?
No. Along with it, if we try, if we make an effort, there's no limitation in terms of whether it can happen after or now. Only the condition is if we are working towards that. We don't need to wait, in other words. We're also seeing that the world is diving into a big crisis, a global crisis that will be felt in any way, shape, or form of humanity. They'll feel that nothing is working in any sense. And therefore we mustn't wait until we set ourselves up here and then towards them. No. Just like we, everyone else, have to start accepting the method of correction and make sure that we are realizing it.
Samir from Hadera is asking, how do we cope with the fact that we are not succeeding in interpreting the intelligence that the Kabbalists are giving us?
We listen to what they say, but not enough to accept it as a necessary thing more than our life. In fact, achieving love of friends within the group in order to receive the higher life, the higher force, what is supposed to be more important than that? Even corporeal life. So what's the difference if I die now or in 20 or 30 years? What's the big deal? What is it? Whereas if I acquire spiritual life, that's it. That's eternity and perfection and everything. That's all there is. It's connection with the Creator, bestowal, and you're leaving all the boundaries and limitations. But we cannot value that. So we cannot value what's happening here. We can't. What can we say? You know, it's for the homeland, for the home planet. That's what we should work for.
In this war, is there such a phenomenon called Memorial Day, or does that only happen in our world?
In spirituality, there is the recollection of the souls, or the mentioning of the souls. Perhaps that's sort of the Memorial Day. Meaning it's not the Memorial Day that a few rabbis determined years ago. I think Rabbi Avodath told it that that was the day. I don't know exactly, but anyway, what do I want to say? There's the memory of the souls, the memorial of the souls, which means that we are ready to connect to the parts in us that have died, that we weren't able to correct, and now we do want to bring them to life. By that, we give thanks to the Creator that these dead parts are connected to us. They're dead in their ego, but they're connected to us in a way that we can awaken them, connect them to us, and sanctify them, which means make them work in order to bestow. We're talking about the souls here. The bodies are something that comes and goes. But the souls come together, connect, and therefore the Memorial Day in spirituality would be when we awaken the connection, evoke the connection between us and them in order to continue the process towards the end of correction. So in fact it's a day of elevation, of upliftment, because death in spirituality in fact is a correction.
Meaning this Memorial Day is part of the process of continuing the campaign.
Yes, of course. Every one of us goes through a death. In corporeality or recognition of evil wise, yeah, of course. Without it, you can't achieve corrections. How? How can you? Without these parts with their intention in order to receive dying. Yes.
What does the prayer of Kaddish symbolize? One that you do after somebody dies. It seems to be the opposite of opposite.
Kaddish is that we say thanks to the Creator when someone dies, right? This is what we're saying in the blessing. The praise the name of the Creator and His greatness. Why? Because someone close to me has died? How can I say such a thing? Right? So all those things are talking about the spiritual level. If I'm on the spiritual level, I'm looking at the will to receive, which passed away in its egoistic form by the light's influence by the Creator, that finally influenced it in a way that this part passed away, and now I can do what's called the revival of the dead, meaning take the will to receive that was passed away with the intention in order to bestow and begin to work with it that was passed away in order to receive and begin to work with it in order to bestow. So, the death of the ego, of the intention to receive, when there's only a body left without an intention, and the body rots, and then I can start working with it, with that desire to receive. That is great aid from above. That's why I'm grateful for it. That's why we're saying, praise the Creator. That's why we're saying the prayer of Kaddish. To us it's a contradiction, because we're egoists. Sure. How can I thank the fact that for the fact that a close person to me has died? This is what's happening with us. But really, if you look at all our prayers, if you start delving into what they mean, you'll see that it's really not making sense towards our life. It's all irrational. It's all complete lack of sense, of any common sense. What can you find that is reasonable, rational, logical in all our, what we know as mitzvot and commandments? There's nothing, because it's all coming as a replication of spirituality. So this is a custom that relates to the death of the will to receive. Then that's why we say the Kaddish. Then we understand what it is. It's a sensation that erupts from the person as his will to receive dies. So let's hope that we won't see another Memorial Day and will reach a day that is filled with goodness.
Announcements. We, a convention of bonding in Rome. On the 20th to the 22nd, we'll rise to a new degree of connection in Rome, Italy. It will include lectures from Lightman and global events of connection throughout the whole world. For details, go to the website www.cabinfo.com/Italy. Celebrating Independence, Kabbalah, I'm inviting you, students from all of the centers in Israel. Tomorrow we'll have a shared celebration of independence in the Kabbalah centers around Israel. Live broadcast of the lecture of Rav Lightman, who will be in Holon. Workshops with the Kabbalah college teachers. Free entrance tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. For details, go to the website or call the phone number. With this, we conclude. Thank you and have a great day.